Everyone mentioned today is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything I discuss here is theory until proven fact, even if it is.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took a red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Hey guys, how you going? I think I'm working today. Can everyone let me know if I'm loud and clear before I start? Deb, how you going? Alex, how you going? Good to see yous. Out to lunch, how you going? Good to see you. Kai, good to see you. Paulie, thank you so much. God love you. Appreciate that. You're a legend, mate. Seriously. Who else is in here? Without a doubt. How you going? Flyby Stew, how you going? D Lee, how you going? Good to see you guys. MRH, how you going? Okay, good to see you guys. Let's get into it. Hey, I should have done this when I moved. But then again, I don't know. He looks like he's bottoming out on the back tyres there. Tell me if that smoke's coming from the back tyre when it turns. Is that coming from the back tyre? I think that's a lot of weight on the car. But hey, I would have saved a lot of time if I had done that in the first place when I just moved. But hey, you know. Wonder where they're moving to. Okay. We're going to go all over the place today. The opinionated black woman auntie said, what the hell do sovereign citizens have to do with a black fella threatening to this dribbling wanker? He's so full of himself. This is our Prime Minister here in Australia, Anthony Albanese, right? And apparently an Aboriginal guy, which other Aboriginals call each other black fellas, right? It's not me saying that. They do. Okay. Well, he got threatened by one, and now he's going after sovereign citizens. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's doubled down on calls to tone down dangerous rhetoric after Brisbane Magistrates Court revealed a threat, stating, "Mark my words, he's going to take out the Australian Prime Minister, whoever said it." He conflates the message by pointing to recent police operations targeting sovereign citizens while ignoring that his own senior ministers continue to use inflammatory language with impunity. Little hypocrite. Little tosser. Tosser's the same as wanker, by the way, just in case you're wondering. They do it to themselves, They frequently, please themselves. Francie Nancy said Senator Maureen Faruqi, in estimates today, took another opportunity to rant on about the recent far-right anti-immigrant so-called marches for Australia. She said international students didn't feel safe going outside in the lead up to these far-right extremist marches where neo-Nazis were literally on our streets. Oh my God. Can we at least march to keep annoying this awful woman? She's demanded that Pauline Hanson not wear the Australian flag in Parliament. Meanwhile, she's wearing a kafta. It looks like a rug, actually. It looks like a floor rug. I don't know. That looks like a mat for my front door. Anyway, let's not worry about that. MJ Truth Ultra said, well, would you look at that? Melania wore the same exact outfit today she did during that time that President Trump said, oh my God, he's not a sump, I'm sorry. President Trump said calm before the storm, and the very first air cue feels kind of stormy, doesn't it? Some background, a lot of people don't know. What a lot of people don't know is when Trump asked, do you know what this represents? The this he was referring to was Q. Look at his hands. This was the very first air cue. This happened on October the 5th, 2017, 23 days prior to the first post, beginning the greatest military civilian intelligence alliance operation the world has ever seen, which is post 4511. We are part of something very special. Don't forget that. Well, I don't think I'm special. I just am very interested in it and can see that we are following that board. These are the posts. As I said, there's 4,966 posts. Beware of false prophets. I'm not a prophet. You are not a prophet. We are not prophets. Focus on the mission. Okay? Just so you know. I know a lot of people won't understand what I'm talking about. There is a place where you can go and look at it. It's the 17th letter of the alphabet, right? Anon.pub. Okay, I don't know if you can read this up here. It's very small. What is the 17th letter of the alphabet? Put that together with Anon. No full stops, no nothing. Okay, just small letters. Put that together with Anon and .pub. I can't really say it on here because they will censor you for it, Okay, Melinda Richards said, could we despise this person anymore? She has the power that should not have been given, should not be hers, and should be immediately taken away. Okay, they're talking about the E. Karen. What's her name again? I can't even remember her name. Julia Inman Grant. There you go. This woman here, can we send all these people? I'm sure there's an uninhabited island somewhere in the world that we can send these people and they can do this to each other and see how they like it. They can censor each other all they like. And they can communist each other all they like. And then we don't have to put up with it. That's what I think should happen. And they should be given no communication to the outside world. Stephen said, Senator Pauline Hanson, the visas of all Gazans must be revoked. Do you agree with her? Yes, I do. Here in Australia, she's the only hope I think we've got. The Pleb reporter said, now that the war in Gaza is over, should we deport all Palestinian refugees back home? I do believe we should. Because apparently the war's over. Peace in the Middle East. Trump's done it again. Andrew Brigden said, is Rishi Sunak being rewarded for following Bill Gates' guidance during the COVID pandemic and net zero? Like Gates, it appears that Sunak was personally a huge investor in COVID-19 vax. Reported that Sunak invested $500 million in Moderna in 2016 through his Cayman Island fund called Theleme. Do as you will. Oh, wow, Thelema. Alistair Crowley. Thelema. Do as you will. Nothing to see here. Wow. That is very interesting. Theleme. He has a Cayman Island fund called Theleme. Look up Alistair Crowley and his Thelema. New Rishi Sunak has been appointed as a senior advisor at Microsoft. This is what happens to politicians when they leave, right? When they've done a good job for their masters, they get great jobs at these private companies afterwards, and probably with a pension for life from the government. At least in Australia they do. Okay, Oz Integrity said Australia 2025, the Race Discrimination Commissioner is Indian born. His office released the National Anti-Racism Framework, stating white people can't experience racism, endorsing a far-left definition of racism where white people can only be perpetrators. Sack the racist. Yeah, people from overseas should not be in our parliament. I believe that for America. I believe it for England. I believe it for New Zealand. I believe it for Canada. Okay, this is the guy. He's an Indian. He's our Race Discrimination Commissioner. Of course he's going to see racism everywhere. His job depends on it. Okay, Bridget Gabriel said there should be no taxes on inheritance. There should be no taxes, period. No matter how large the amount, this is money that has been taxed numerous times for decades. It should stay in the family. And I agree. I mean, that's how the government gets their money, though. And then they lord it over us with that money that they get from taxpayers. This is insane. Like, the world is totally upside down right now. Margaret Cleveland said, so where'd the fake headline come from? Buzz Patterson said, we are not building a Qatari military base in Idaho. Okay, we're going to train their pilots, period. We've been doing it for decades. I went to USAF pilot training and we had Saudis and Iranians flying with us because the left are up in arms now because Trump is going to train Qatari pilots at a military base in Idaho. Dudes posting their W's. Sorry if you can hear that. That's my grandchildren. Dudes posting their W's. French farmer decides to take matters into their own hands to get rid of a legal camp that's been set up on their land. Okay, this is hilarious. You've got to watch this. Okay, I can't play the sound, so... Okay, might as well jump, right? I get up, nothing gets me down. You got it tough? I've seen the toughest all round. And I know, baby, just how you feel. You've got to flow with the punches and give them what's real. And so what they're doing here is they are spraying shit all over the place where they're camping. Way to go, the farmers. Oh, my goodness. Way to go, farmers. They're just spraying the fields with shit, okay? That's what they're doing. And the migrants, they're trying to stop them. They keep falling off the tractors, but they're trying, you know. I think that's hilarious. Okay, go the French. MJ Truth Ultra said we moved out 1,700 criminals. 1,700. People have to start wondering at some point why certain numbers keep showing up. Drop a frog if you know. 17. What is the 17th letter of the alphabet? You wouldn't believe how these people, like they do this all the time, and the deep state do it all the time. They talk in code, okay, and they talk in numbers. And we don't understand what they're saying half the time. There could be 33 people killed in a plane crash. The number means a lot, okay? These numbers mean a lot when they say these things. MJ Truth Ultra said Trump, last night we reached a momentous breakthrough in the Middle East, something that people said was never going to be done. We ended the war in Gaza. We secured the release of all the remaining hostages. Okay. And then they moved out 1,700 criminals. Pay attention. They talk in code. You've got to learn that code. That's what this was about. Trying to teach people. Hello? Old soldier said the Australian government sent me to war to fight terrorism. Now they're importing them without telling us. Those ISIS brides have come back, okay? And they're calling out Allah Akbar or whatever. I don't know what their bloody chant is. They're calling that out in the airport and saying that the UK and Australia and all that needs to be taken over. So also something to those words. Okay, Awakened Outlaw said no, dummy, in response to Senator Alex Padilla. Said Trump Republicans are clinging to power by any means necessary. Their latest move, laying the groundwork to purge voter rolls, to leave millions of eligible Americans unable to have their voice heard in our elections. We're not going to let them get away with it. Today I introduced the Voter Purge Protection Act with Rep. Beatty to protect our democracy and your right to vote, to protect their bureaucracy and illegals' right to vote. There you go, fixed it. Awakened Outlaw said no, dummy. The voter rolls are being cleaned of people who moved out of state, those ineligible, illegal aliens and the dead. The only reason to have all these on the rolls is to cheat. The fact that anyone would argue that we need to keep all of those types on the rolls is rather remarkable and not in a good way. Try to keep up. Wow. Oh, Truth Hammer Forever said this would fix everything. Can we have this here in Australia as well? Number 1, paper ballots. Number 2, 1 day of voting in person. 3, scan the data and record on a mutable blockchain record. 4, vote. Voter has a code they can use to look up their ballot at any time and see how it was counted. Open source code tallies the vote directly from the public blockchain records. Fraud's impossible. Audits are seamless because everything is transparent. No black box private code, no backdoors that can change vote records database. No company with any private hidden code allowed to develop, operate, use, sell any vote systems in the US. Can we have that here too? Can we have what they're having? Oh dear. Ron DeSantis said linking digital ID with access to financial institutions is one obvious way central authorities will use it to curtail individual freedom. Sometimes dangerous policies are dressed up to make them look less threatening, i.e. a wolf in sheep's clothing. Digital ID is not that. It is a wolf presenting itself as a wolf. Basil the Great in the UK said Keir Starmer just admitted digital ID will be used to make payments and access money. We are turning into a communist state. He just said the quiet bit out loud. It's full, total control. Okay, they can say you owe them money and take your money without blinking, and you got to. How are you going to prove otherwise? How on earth is that going to happen? Hey, Shannon, good to see ya. Anyone else who's joined us that I've not seen? Good to see you guys. I tried to go live on Rumble. I don't know if I'm actually live on Rumble at the moment. I don't know. Well, technical, I've got to be my own IT. I've got to start getting ready like hours beforehand. MJ Truth Ultra said, for those illiterate to the facts, let me shout it from the rooftop. Qatar is paying for the whole expansion of the current military installation already there. The Department of War, which is in America, will own 100%, okay? They will receive training just like we've done with countless other nations for 75 plus years. So anyone telling you they're building a Qatar facility in Idaho, no, they're not. They're just doing what they've always done. Just the left is freaking out and trying to throw anything they can at the wall, hoping something sticks. MJ Truth Ultra said, my thoughts, why Qatar is building a military facility in Idaho. The US Department of War has authorised Qatar to build a training facility at Mountain Home Air Force Base, Idaho, for its F-15QA pilots. Is this a good idea? For starters, this isn't a sovereign Qatari base but hosted training contingent under US control, which is very similar to Singapore's F-15 training at the same base since 2009, or Dutch F-16 pilots in New Mexico. We also provide training to Qatari military personnel in Florida, notably at Tyndall Air Force Base. Alliances matter in the Middle East, not just from Israel, for last. Okay? Saving them for last. Qatar's $12 billion F-15 QA purchase requires US-based training for compatibility. Mountain Home's infrastructure suits this perfectly. Say it with me. Reciprocity. The US operates Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, CENTCOM's hub, extended in 2024 and critical for anti-ISIS missions. Also, Qatar played a key role in the Gaza ceasefire mediation, which prompted a US security guarantee. Why did you put it twice? With this facility cementing ties, and this was despite the fact that Netanyahu attacked inside Qatar, potentially trying to sabotage the process. The fact is, this is routine for US alliances. Think German pilots at Holloman Air Force Base or NATO exercises in Texas. It enhances joint defence, boosts Idaho's economy, and counters the radical proxies within Iran. The bottom line is President Trump knows what he is doing. Okay, so for anyone worried about that, do not freak out. Okay. Brian Tamaki said, protect your patch, keep New Zealand as New Zealand. Okay, that's our brothers down south there from Australia. This local election, Auckland Council has set up voting stations at 4 mosques across Auckland, actively encouraging more Muslims to vote. Yet not one voting station set up in a church. This says everything, really. They're stacking the odds. They did it in Australia. Don't let them do it, guys. Get out, vote. If you don't care enough to vote for Kiwis standing, don't complain when your neighbourhood no longer looks like New Zealand. Kiwis better make sure they voted. Local council elections close tomorrow at midday, which is probably today. Yep. Too many seats across New Zealand are going unopposed. This is how you lose control of your own backyard. Look at what's happening in Flatbush under Auckland Council. They need 3 new local board members, yet 7 out of the 10 candidates don't even live in Flatbush. Here are the candidates. Prashant Bellwalker, Indian, President of the Migrant Heritage Charitable Trust. Krish Naidu, Fijian Indian, Co-Chair of Auckland's Council Ethnic Communities Advisory Panel. Joseph Rebello represents various culturally diverse organisations. Jamie Lee Ross, European, remember this pimp daddy, ex-National MP. Gurbani Singh, Indian businesswoman. Sonia Singh, Indian businesswoman. Peter Young, Asian, founder of Botany and Flatbush Ethnic Association. Kai Zeng, Asian, from Botany and Flatbush Ethnic Association. And then there's Tracy Wignall, a Kiwi who lives in Flatbush. As you can see, the majority of these candidates are immigrants. They are seeing the opportunity to exploit this ward by standing in a suburb where they don't even live to gain a voice in our council. They don't shop there, they don't drive those roads, they don't deal with the same rates, schools or local issues. What is wrong with local politics? This is what's wrong with local politics, sorry. Outsiders see an easy path to power and Kiwis are asleep at the wheel. We've all done this. If you don't vote and vote for the Kiwis standing, you're basically saying you don't care who makes the calls on your parks, your roads, your town centres, your planning approvals and your future. And your roads are going to look like shit because they're not going to fix them. Recently, many were shocked at Auckland Council's approval on Araramu Road in Drury for a new large-scale Sikh temple to be built. The decision went ahead despite the council's own staff and town planner saying it should be declined despite the rural zoning being wrong for this activity, despite the majority of local residents opposing the project. Yet all of this was overruled. Councils are approving religious centres for foreign religions at an overwhelming and disproportionate rate. Here's how it stacks up in New Zealand. There's roughly 1 mosque Islamic centre for every 1,255 Muslims, 1 Buddhist temple for every 1,825 Buddhists, 1 Sikh temple for every 2,136 Sheikhs. Is that how you say it? Sheikhs? Yet only 1 church for every 5,900 Christians. Councils are favouring foreign religions, making it easier for them to gain resource consents than they are for Kiwi Christian churches. All further applications for mosques, temples, etc. need to be stopped. The number of Christian churches needs to exceed those other religions. After all, Christianity is our founding religion. Local government is where decisions start. It's where influence begins. Those who win here end up shaping what happens in the parliament later. If Kiwis don't show up and vote for other Kiwis, other foreign cultures will. Stop being lazy, stand up, speak up and vote to protect your neighbourhood. Let's keep New Zealand as New Zealand. And we should do the same for Australia and everywhere. UK, Canada, US. Awakened Outlaws said no, they committed crimes, a lot of them too. The fact that they're enemies only makes it more enjoyable for Trump and his supporters after what you put him and his associates through. Or did you forget about all of these? Perhaps you can show me a single post you made criticising the Biden admin for targeting their political enemies, or does it only matter when your team has to face the consequences? In response to Joyce Aline, indicting your political enemies because they're your enemies, not because they've committed crimes, is un-American. Well, they have committed crimes. Okay? They have committed crimes. All of them. And they will be held accountable. It's coming. Attorney General James I don't know what the rest of his name. I'm sorry. James Youthmeyer? My office has been working with State Attorney Gladstone office in Marion County since we were alerted that this dangerous individual who murdered a child by repeatedly stabbing him in the head was in Florida. This afternoon, the Marion County Sheriff's Office and 5th Judicial Circuit State Attorney's Office obtained a warrant for the arrest of Ronald Exantis for failure to register as a convicted felon. State officials are now working to send him back to Kentucky. I want to thank Sheriff Woods and State Attorney Gladstone for keeping our communities safe from this dangerous felon. Carolyn Levitt said, I can confirm the White House is looking into this. It's wholly unacceptable for a child killer to walk free after just several years in prison. This case should be getting a lot more attention, should be massively viral. We need the White House on it. A man who broke into a house and stabbed a child to death is now walking free. One of the most heinous miscarriages of justice in American history. There you go. That's what all this was in response to. And they shouldn't be able to walk free. That's what, look at all the people who are getting charged 30 times and still walking free and then killing someone. You know it's going to happen. Blind Freddy can see it coming. Clandestine said they gave the Nobel Peace Prize to Obama for dropping airstrikes on innocent civilians. Meanwhile, Trump is stopping wars around the globe and bringing peace to the Middle East. I can't talk today. I don't know what is wrong. Confirmation that the Nobel Foundation is not actually about peace. It's a propaganda outlet looking to shape public opinion with the people they offer the prize to. It was given to Obama to brainwash the public and deceive them from seeing the dark crimes Obama was engaged in behind closed doors. The Nobel Peace Prize Foundation is just another arm of the deep state used to shape perception of reality. It's actually Orwellian, and it is. Anyone with a Nobel Peace Prize, just be very wary. Okay? Senator Matt Canavan said here in Australia, said Chris Bowen's been caught telling fibs about how much of the beautiful Australian bush will be destroyed by his obsession with renewables. It's about time the government published its own map with how to... Oh, not on the keyboard, sweetie. Sorry, my cat just jumped up. It's about time the Australian government published its own map with how much land and nature these things will take up. The Australian people deserve to know the truth. We can't protect the environment by destroying the environment, but that's what they're doing. My cat's just woken up and come out to play. Oh, my God. Okay, settle down, darling. Okay, cynical Publius said, honestly, this is the final straw. A significant portion of the Democrat Party is okay with their political opponents being murdered. I'm not exaggerating, this is not hyperbole. And if you consider yourself a moderate Democrat, realise that moderate part is sheer fantasy. as your votes are actually votes in favour of radical outcomes based in violence. The rabbit foo, I don't know. Bunny foo, I don't know. This was wild, awkward, never seen anything like it. Let's have a look.
Would it take him pulling the trigger? Is that what would do it? And then you would say he needs to get out of the race? Abigail, you have nothing to say? Abigail, what if he said it about your 3 children? Is that when you would say he should get out of the race, Abigail? You're running to be governor.
Miss Earl Sears.
I mean, we're talking about murder. We're talking about someone's life being taken from them. Have you nothing to say about that? Are you not going to address it? Really, you can't go any further. You're a governor. You're supposed to stand up for all the people. Are you saying political murder is all right? Have some political courage. What you have done is you are taking political calculations about your future as governor. Well, as governor, you have to make hard choices, and that means telling Jay Jones to leave the race.
Wow. She didn't even answer. Not one word. 40 Head said, in past centuries, I'm trying to read around a cat's tail, Americans called for traitors in our government to be executed. Today, Americans have settled into simply calling for a slap on the wrist through censure or resignation of those that have abused their oath of office, betrayed we the people, or violated the Constitution. There's not enough fear or expectation of real and terrible consequences for treasonous actions against today's United States or our liberties. Americans have gone soft. Traitors are not worried about getting caught. It's time for America's government offices, courts and both houses of Congress to be cleansed and purged with real prosecution and punishment for high crimes and misdemeanours. Execute a few traitors, and the willingness to betray the greatest nation on earth will no longer be such an attractive option. And I happen to agree with that. It's not just fire them and censure them or whatever, right? It is hold them accountable. If we want people, murderers and that, to be held accountable, we want these people to be held accountable. There are laws and rules for this. British Intel said digital ID system already hacked twice. Do you really want to go down that route? Okay. Here in Australia, the other day, the MyGov, the government website, was hacked. Okay, a government test team revealed the new digital ID system was hacked earlier this year, so ministers disbanded the team and covered it up. Then it was hacked again, and no one even noticed until the hackers themselves came forward. 2 breaches in a trial phase, no public disclosure. Full rollout still planned. Imagine Russia or China getting hold of every worker's personal details in one swoop. Can you go somewhere, I don't know, other than right in front of my screen, Bella? Okay, I've got an answer for the digital ID too. What a lot of people are thinking of doing. And if you want to join in, you're very welcome. Awakened Outlaw said, when the SCOTUS ultimately chimes in, and chime in they will, it's all but a lock that they side with Trump, and a nationwide precedent will have been ensconced and definitive regarding the president's plenary power over all things delineated in the Constitution. Okay, that's going to warp my brain. Specific to his control of the executive branch and powers as the commander-in-chief of the military. Can someone explain it to me like I'm 5? Hell, he's already 21-0 in Supreme Court decisions so far, and we're only a little over 8 months into his latest term. Make sure to bookmark this post from Gavin's team so you can troll the shit out of him later. Governor Newsom's press office said yet another judge has blocked Trump's attempt to take over the National Guard. Democracy is barely hanging on, your bureaucracy. It's time to speak up, let it be known you do not want the US military in American cities. Okay, if you're on the Democrat side at all, I feel sorry for you. Okay, I don't know. Have to be pretty brainwashed to be still there. MJ Truth Ultra said breaking Baron Trump tip for leading role at TikTok. According to President's former social media manager, Jake Advent, I'm hopeful President Trump will consider appointing his son Barron and maybe other young Americans to TikTok's board to help ensure it remains an app young people want to keep using. Advent, whom the president playfully nicknamed TikTok Jack. Interesting move. Bella, out of the way, quick. Stephen said, I love it when the Maoris stand against the Palestine jihadis and declare Jesus Christ as the Lord of this nation. Maori are now one of my favourite people. Do you feel the same? Let's have a look. Are they doing the haka? I like that. Go the Maoris, Kiwis. Go New Zealand, stand up. Oh, you got the free Palestine. Sorry, I had to play that. I love the haka. I'm watching it. I think it's their war dance, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, please do. Daniel said, imagine being at any airport and hearing a group screaming, Allahu Akbar. This was a scene at Sydney Airport this morning. Sound on. Are you ready for this? Here come the ISIS brides. New Zealand get the haka and we get this.
Free Palestine. Palestine to the sea. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea.
I don't want to hear any more unless someone's going to get, tackled or something. Oh, my God. Jesus, go home. The war's over. Okay. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they get the haka, we get this. Okay, Basil the Great said Jess Phillips announces zero progress has been made on the grooming gang inquiry in the UK. Responding to Rupert Lowe's request for progress, in the last 5 months the government has done nothing. No chair appointed, no areas of review decided. It'll take 2 to 3 years to do this. Labor don't want an inquiry, they want a cover-up. That's exactly right. In 5 months they've done nothing. They don't want an inquiry. We already knew that. NECC? Nessie? Okay. And Maloney's banned the burqa. Thumbs up if you agree with her. Giorgia Meloni of Italy has banned the burqa and refuses to recognise the Palestinian state. Good on her. Oh, God help Australia and UK and Canada and, well, New Zealand got the haka. Oh, the Figgin, I thought I'd put this in because it was quite good, right? We need something light for a change. The homeowner saw on the security camera that a bear was playing on the outdoor swing every day but couldn't get on the swing. So he had a bigger swing built, and this was the result. Let's have a look from the beginning. Does it have any music behind it? Hopefully not. Oh, God, love it. Oh, it just wanted to have a swing. Okay, sorry, guys. I just had to play that because I thought it was so cute. I know bears are dangerous. I wouldn't go near one, but that is cute. Okay, Bill Holt. Okay, so Trump ended the war and brought the hostages home. Still no Nobel Peace Prize. Instead, they handed it to some woman nobody's ever heard of. We've completely lost not just our country, but our world. They're just flat out running everything on racism and sexism now. I'm sure this Catalina blah, blah, blah is a great person, but whatever she did, surely it's microscopic next to what Trump just did. Wait till you hear what she did. It's called the Peace Prize. And he literally just brought peace to Gaza, and he's been working on it for months, and they're ignoring him again. Fighting Maduro is great for Venezuela. Fighting Hamas is great for the entire world. If Trump doesn't deserve the Nobel Peace Prize, nobody ever will. Meanwhile, they gave it to Obama for just showing up in black skin. And now, because there's a woman somewhere who needs affirmation, better give it to her so she doesn't start crying. Oh, no, no, no. This woman who got it, just wait. Better give it to her so they don't start marching with vaginas on their head again. Remember that, pussy hats? Guys, wake up. They're not even pretending anymore. They will never acknowledge Trump as the leader he is, and they will never accept any Republican as president again. Which means we are no longer living in the United States, and that's something we have to accept and deal with. God bless America. Now, Eric Doherty said, Justin, Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado dedicates her prize to President Trump. I dedicate this prize to the suffering people of Venezuela and to President Trump for his decisive support of our cause. We're on the threshold of victory, and today, more than ever, we count on President Trump, the people of the United States, the people of Latin America, and the democratic nations of the world as our principal allies to achieve freedom and democracy. Okay, so she has now dedicating her Nobel Peace Prize to President Trump. There you go. So she's not like a woke woman who, is just a woman will cry if she doesn't get it. No, I'm sure she's not. Bro said, I'm hoping more and more people are waking up to the fact that President Trump will go down as the most significant president in our lifetime. Now, this is an Australian man saying this, okay? Bro. What he's being able to achieve is so monumental, even his most hated critics are starting to realise this. Peace be upon the world. So all these people screaming out Palestine, free Palestine. Hello? What do you think now? What are you going to cry out now? What's Trump done now? What TDS do you have now? Yeah, he's turning on. Yeah, there's no reason for Israel and Palestine to be fighting. Trump knows what's happening and who's doing what. Believe me. Kazi Novak's for me ever said the wonderful thing about this world is for all the doom and gloomers there are people who just won't roll over and accept. Yeah, I'm one of them. They understand it might not be easy, but are willing to go the extra mile to find ways to out of any situation. Digital ID will be the same. No, it can be fought. Don't give in to the fearmongers, okay? We can fight this, guys. I'd advise go take cash out now. Make sure you have cash on you at all times. There's more. There's more. We can fight this. Just keep hanging in there. I'll read it in a sec. Litecoin bull, the news before the news, hidden enslavement. Here we are, D-Day, and our predictions are yet again coming true. Yes, in 1913, they said the income tax was temporary. A tiny rate, only for the rich. A patriotic duty. They lied. What began as 7% became 77% in 5 years. War was the excuse. Control was the goal. The temporary tax mutated into permanent pipeline feeding a machine that bleeds every citizen dry. They called it fairness. It was theft legalised by the 16th Amendment passed the same year as the Federal Reserve was born. Coincidence? Never. The Constitution once blocked federal taxation without apportionment. They rewrote it, not to fund freedom, but to enslave it. The Fed prints debt, the IRS collects tribute, and the people? Programmed to believe their chains are patriotic. By 1983, Reagan's own Grace Commission exposed the fraud. 100% of income tax revenue goes to pay interest on the national debt and federal transfer payments. Not 1 cent funds roads, schools or defence. The truth, your taxes don't sustain America, they sustain the bankers who own it. Every paycheck, every deduction, every April 15th is a ritual of submission. They tell you it's for the common good, yet the money vanishes into the void of debt controlled by private central banks. The real government sits behind the curtain counting your labour as collateral. They normalised the lie, they hid the theft behind words like duty, equity and public service. But follow the money, it flows upward, never down. The political class feeds off your compliance. The Fed grows stronger, the IRS grows bolder. The people grow poorer. And the same families who wrote the laws still write the cheques. The Grace Commission findings were buried, the press silenced, Congress ignored because exposure would have meant collapse. Not of the government, but of the illusion that you are free. Every dollar you earn is proof of ownership, not yours, theirs. Every tax form signed is silent consent to servitude. The 16th Amendment wasn't reform, it was a coup. You were never meant to fund freedom, you were meant to fund your own captivity. Hang on one sec, guys. Read on, it gets better. Prologue, the original sin. In 1913, they sold the American people a lie wrapped in a flag. The income tax they promised was temporary, a patriotic measure. A tiny rate, a mere 1% on the ultra-wealthy to help in times of national need. It was presented as a duty, a shared sacrifice for the greater good. They lied. What was ratified as the 16th Amendment was not a tool for fairness, it was the foundational stone of the most sophisticated and brutal financial control grid ever imposed on a free people. This was not the birth of a revenue service, it was the inception of a parasitic entity that would grow to become America's true unelected government. The Internal Revenue Service. This is a report they don't want you to read. This is the truth about the criminal empire operating out of Washington, D.C. Chapter 1. Oh, my God, this is just Chapter 1. Hang on a minute. I might have to bookmark this to read. Oh, my God, I will. I didn't realise it was so long, guys. So what I'm going to do... Oh, how far does it go? No, it's pretty long. I might wait for tomorrow to read this one. Let me just click in here. Holy cow, I didn't realise it was that long, but I believe the beginning of it was like a synopsis, you know, a summary, sorry. Clandestine said the left are upset because Trump accomplished a peace deal in the Middle East disproves their entire reality. They were truly convinced Trump was literally Hitler. This peace deal proves that was all a lie. If they accepted that was a lie, they must consider that other things they've been told about Trump might also be a lie. Their biggest nightmare is unfolding before their eyes. Trump and his supporters were right, and they have to accept the fact that they've been deceived. There you go. Well, they don't have to. They can sit there and deny it all they like. Okay, Nazar and Veronica said you'll need permission to access your own money. Keir Starmer openly admitted that digital ID cards could soon be required just to access your own bank account. Read that again. Your own money. Take it out of the bank. It's not about safety, convenience, or efficiency. It's about control. Once every transaction is tied to your digital ID, they can freeze your funds, restrict what you buy, or block you completely for non-compliance. This is how freedom ends, not overnight, but bit by bit, under the disguise of progress. They want a world where your ability to live, work, travel, or even spend depends on your obedience. But we still have a choice if we all stand together and say no. They can't control what we refuse to give them. Hold the line. That's why I said go take your money out, cash. Okay? And even go shopping before the 10th. I'd do whatever you can to not do anything on that week. Lozzie B said, what the actual fork Australia? Is our government intentionally trying to harm Australians? Yes, they are. Their actions say that they are. Why would you bring known terrorists into our country? Surely putting Australians and our national security at risk over and over again is an act of treason and good reason for this government to be removed, yes. One of Australia's ISIS brides, in her own words, as fresh batch returns home, attacked the UK, Oz and the US, killed them, stabbed them, poisoned the food. Okay? That's what she wants to do. I don't know, I'd start making my own pepper spray, maybe. Okay, the stark naked brief said the judge that overturned Hamit Koskin's criminal conviction for burning a copy of the Quran. We finally found a good one, guys. His name is Justice Joel Benathan. Benathan said at Koskin's hearing, there's no offence of blasphemy in our law. Burning a Quran may be an act that many Muslims find desperately upsetting and offensive. The criminal law, however, is not a mechanism that seeks to avoid people being upset, even grievously upset. The right to freedom of expression, if it is a right worth having, must include the right to express views that offend, shock or disturb. And that's why I'm against cancel culture. You got to let people say what they say, and they will soon be found out for what they're saying, obviously. Exposure. They expose themselves. He then went on to cite Article 10 of the European Convention of Human Rights pertaining to the freedom of expression. It's long past time we scrapped and reviewed our incredibly contradictory speech laws. Meanwhile, the Crown Prosecution Service and the Met Police have deservedly ended up with yet more egg on their face. Apparently this guy is in the UK, I'm thinking. The Crown Prosecution Service and the Met Police, I'd say it's in the UK. Well, good. It's not against the law in our countries to burn a Quran. Andy No said now that the local and national press have started to cover the Portland ICE area around the clock in reaction to the president, Antifa have devised a plan where they are encouraging one another to come in animal costumes. Oh, their name is the Furries. Not the Furies, but the Furries. The costumes serve the function of masking the violent extremism to make the direct action appear like a family-friendly gathering on camera and to whitewash the past ultra-violence. In 2019, Antifa devised a similar plot by giving out free milkshakes at a protest, but they couldn't contain their bloodthirst and nearly killed me when they saw me. In 2020, they mobilised a fake wall of mums where female Antifa supporters and members wore yellow shirts to act as human body shields, while violent rioters behind them hurled projectile weapons. Sounds like Hamas. Okay, apparently they're dressed in cartoonish frog costumes at Portland ICE riots. The man in that is a trans person named Seth D. Todd. Seth Todd is an Antifa anti-government violent extremist who uses the costume to make his comrades look less threatening on videos and photos, but he urges killings and murders, including calling for those who work for the US government to be shot in the head. He identifies himself as a terrorist. Mr. Todd has an open federal case in Portland stemming from a criminal citation on July the 8th. He is not barred from being outside the ICE facility. He is regularly there, where he tries to help his comrades escape arrest. Okay? And that's where he said that, you know. Wow. Okay, Awakened Outlaw said, okay, so maybe I didn't explain myself very well before, and that allowed me to try again. The obvious switch was flipped in the algorithm to effectively cross streams Ghostbusters style. On X, right, what they've done is left and right they've just chucked it all in your For You tab on X, okay? So what's happening is the left and right are meeting now on X, okay? They're coming across each other's posts. And by that I mean the general separated silos of liberal X and conservative MAGA X have been commingled, and timing-wise I believe it's highly likely to be on purpose. Does that make X a tad more confrontational? Yes, of course it does. Is having to suffer the abject moronity of the left a pain in the keister? Also yes. Or keister? But I don't automatically reach for the block mute buttons, because I argue that if it was done on purpose, which would make sense in the moment where things rapidly building to a head, then we're supposed to use the moment to get in there and engage in a little, for lack of a better term, hand-to-hand combat, wielding the truth and the will to stand firm in it in the face of leftist nutbaggery. Sure, some of them are legit whack jobs, which makes for good sport. But when we're talking about reaching regular folks in the middle, independents and moderate Dem voters, this would present an excellent chance of helping expose new eyes to difficult truths and facts inconvenient to the fake news media preferred narrative. Think about it. Makes sense to me. Would love to hear your opinions about this. Seems kind of important to me. Perhaps it's a good opportunity to really think about what Ronald Reagan pointed out decades ago and act on it. In effect, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. That's where we come in. It isn't that liberals are ignorant, it's just that they know so much that isn't so. Okay, Australian Patriots said on the 10th of December we take a stand. Ready? A national strike. And yes, it includes our children. That date also marks the rollout of digital ID, and it's time to use the system against itself. 1 week. That's all it takes to break the economy and show our strength. If you're worried about work, book off sick now. Support your local farmers, small businesses, but otherwise stay at home. Go camping or spend time with your family, because that's what's missing in Australia right now. Unity of family, unity of workmates, and unity as a nation fighting back against government overreach. We're not rioting, we're not violent, we're staying home, peacefully, in the comfort of our own lives. This isn't about skin colour or where you come from, it's about being a taxpayer. It's about protecting your children's future. On December the 10th, Australia stands together. 1 week national strike. If only. I said this many years ago on Facebook. I said it's going to take everybody. This was about petrol prices years ago, right? I said it would take everybody not to buy petrol for a week for them to drop the price of fuel. And I agree with the same thing with this. But, yeah, whether you can get people together enough to do that or not, I don't know. But if enough of us do it, I believe it can work. I don't know. It's up to you guys. You know, your individual situations. But, like, I'd fight for Australia right now. The Road Knight said 2 Victorian teenagers charged with murder have refused to board the prison van to attend court, leaving a magistrate and prosecutors frustrated. Why didn't they just tackle them and put them in there? Frankly, I'm not surprised. They show contempt for our country, culture, society and laws, so why not courts? Are they not in handcuffs? 2 Victorian teenagers charged with murder have refused to board the prison van to attend court, leaving a magistrate and prosecutors frustrated. Where are the police? Hello? Shove them in the van. Don't ask them. You put them. What the fuck? Anyway, DC Drono said less than 48 hours after President Trump announces a peace deal in the Middle East, China sends out extremely threatening letters to multiple countries about new trade wars. This isn't a coincidence. Their ally Iran, from which they buy 90% of their oil exports, was just defeated in their quest for more war that would have weakened America. China's playing the long game against America, and they want us divided and weak. Now that peace is coming to Gaza, they are turning up the heat on the trade war. We will defeat this paper tiger, Donald J. Trump said. Some very strange things are happening in China. They are becoming very hostile and sending letters to countries throughout the world that they want to impose export controls on each and every element of production having to do with rare earths and virtually anything else they can think of, even if it's not manufactured in China. Nobody has ever said anything like this, but essentially it would clog the markets and make life difficult for virtually every country in the world, especially for China. We have been contacted by other countries who are extremely angry at this great trade hostility, which came out of nowhere. Our relationship with China over the past 6 months has been a very good one, thereby making this move on trade an even more surprising one. I've always felt that they've been lying in wait, and now, as usual, I have been proven right. There's no way that China should be allowed to hold the world captive, but that seems to have been their plan for quite some time, starting with the magnets and other elements that they have quietly amassed into somewhat of a monopoly position. A rather sinister and hostile move, to say the least. But the US has monopoly positions also, much stronger and much far more reaching than China's. I've just not chosen to use them. There was never a reason for me to do so until now. The letter they sent is many pages long and details with great specificity each and every element that they want to withhold from other nations. Things that were routine are no longer routine at all. I've not spoken to President Xi because there's no reason to do so. This was a real surprise, not only to me but to the leaders of the free world. I was to meet President Xi in 2 weeks at APEC in South Korea, but now there seems to be no reason to do so. The Chinese letters were especially inappropriate in that this was the day that after 3,000 years of bedlam and fighting, there is peace in the Middle East. I wonder if that timing was coincidental. Dependent on what China says about the hostile order that they've just put out, I will be forced as the President of the United States of America to financially counter their move. For every element that they've been able to monopolise, we have too. I never thought it would come to this, but perhaps as with all things, the time has come. Ultimately, though potentially painful, it will be a very good thing in the end for the USA. One of the policies that we are calculating at this moment is a massive increase of tariffs on China's products coming into the United States of America. There are many other countermeasures that are likewise under serious consideration. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and that makes me think, welcome to the storm. There's a storm coming. I think it's here. Okay, interesting. Fee said time for castle law, whether it's legal or not. The government won't keep you safe, and in fact, they don't give a stuff about you. One of Australia's ISIS brides, in her own words, as Fresh Batch returns home, as I read out before, she said attack the US, Australia and the UK. And she wants to kill them, stab them and poison the food. Pauline Hanson, if she gets in, will ban the burqa and face coverings. Unlike Albanese, he is repatriating extremists who joined the Islamic State, and he's offering refugee to Gazans who support the terrorist group Hamas. One Nation will reintroduce a bill to ban the burqa and face coverings. Australians must feel safe in their own country, not threatened by those who harbour extremist views, and I agree with her. And apparently in Australia's parliament as well, Malcolm Roberts said for the past 3 days, One Nation senators have been furiously busy at Senate estimates exposing the ways government is wasting billions of your money. There's a few who do it. Malcolm Roberts is one of them. He questions them in Parliament. James Patterson is another one. I think he's of the Liberal Party. We have hours of hearings so far, but can't retrieve any from a broken parliamentary broadcasting system to show you. Complaints to the Parliament House IT department appear to have fallen on deaf ears because they don't want the public to hear it. Of course, it would be advantageous to the government to not have clips of these hearings on social media, but they'll tell you to take the tinfoil hat off. This issue must be fixed immediately for the Parliament to function in a transparent and democratic way. If a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, all 4 of your One Nation senators will be posting videos of all our hearings as soon as they're available. So we've got 4 One Nation people doing it. We've got others doing it too in Parliament, in the Australian Parliament, and it's very eye-opening how condescending and arrogant people like Penny Wong and Alan Watts And our Prime Minister really are. Lozzie Beastness said an Australian man died in Bali and his original autopsy findings could not be corroborated in a second autopsy in Australia. His body was returned to Australia without his heart and other organs. What are they doing? Harvesting them? When the family finally received the organs back 8 weeks later, there was not enough genetic material left, or they destroying evidence, left to conclusively prove it was the Australian man's heart and organs. Oh. A second young man that died in Bali also had his heart and organs removed. It wasn't until a second autopsy was done in Australia that the family found out that his body had been returned without his heart and major organs. I think they're trafficking organs. The family was then charged $700 to have the heart and organs returned. It's still unconfirmed if they belong to him. No, it probably come out of the people who his heart replaced and other organs. This is not the first cases of this happening, guys. Young men, I would not go to Bali until this is sorted out. Healthy young men going to Bali and then dying and having their heart and organs removed, I'd be wary. I think it's organ harvesting going on. And then the organs they are sent weeks later are probably the ones that they replaced. Okay, Adam Brimson Design said, okay, the government's going to introduce a digital ID. You can't stop them implementing it, but you don't want it, so what do? You have a bit of time. Prepare now, supplies for a few weeks at least. Then the digital ID comes and you say no, everyone says no, and we can't do anything for an unspecified amount of time. But we have prepared and we can wait it out until their system collapses. We are the country. It doesn't work without us. No participation, no rulers. We have already won. You just need to act like it. Okay. Laura Ingram said J.D. Vance jokes about President Trump's long-standing ties in the Middle East. He also, of course, knew one of the most famous Palestinians in the world, Chuck Schumer. Oh, that's funny, actually. Let's have a listen.
Mr. President, first of all, congratulations on yesterday. It was a big day to Marco, to Susie, to the entire team, but in particular, viewing it from this perspective where for months the fake news media attacked you, attacked the entire team, attacked your approach. You know, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. The reason we're here is because the president actually charted a different course with a different team. He vested a lot of authority in Steve Witkoff in particular, and that's why we're here. It's because you did something different, and I think it's important to recognize that. I also think the president, Marco mentioned the president's personal touch being a big part of this. The one thing I would say is obviously the president of the United States, a New York real estate billionaire, one of the most famous New Yorkers in the world, has a lot of interaction with a lot of people who are very pro-Israel. I think that was an important set of experiences and life experiences that he brought to the table. He also, of course, knew one of the most famous Palestinians in the world, Chuck Schumer, and I think without that background of knowledge, it would have been impossible to get us to this point.
There you go. Yeah, Chuck Schumer is one of the biggest Palestinians out there. I won't even read that. Oh, my God. Candace Owens has gone a bit nuts, man. She said she dreamt now Charlie Kirk came to her on his way out and said he was deceived or something. I don't know. He was tricked. I don't know. It's getting very weird. I'll just beware of Candace Owens, okay? That's all I'm going to say on that. Now let's go to the comments. I'm going to bring this over here. God love you guys, and I've got to try and tee up with Timmy when we can go, when we can have a call in. And I tried to go live on Rumble, but I don't think it worked. Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably, watch this. It won't work. Is it working? No, one viewer's waiting. No. Okay, I'm going to have to delete this one because that didn't work. I think I know what I did wrong, by the way. I do think I know what I did wrong this morning on Rumble. It's something to do with streamer configuration. Okay, so I've just got to make sure I put the right thing in next time. What did I do with YouTube? Where's it gone? There it is. Okay, Alex said, good to hear. I have a mix ready to release after the show, Paulie. Oh, Alex does music, yeah. Okay. Paulie said, Alex, sending all my love always. Alex said, bit of Naughty's Club. Alex said, thank you, Paulie, and God bless. Yeah, God love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Deb said, looking forward to your next release, Alex. Mob Rat Hunter had a message retracted. Okay. Paulie said, hi, Deb, just picking up dinner, be back when home. Deb said, feel hello without a doubt. Alex said, awesome, I really hope you like it, lol. Yep, sound all good, excellent. Flyby Stu, how you going? Dealey, how you going? Coming in loud and clear. Okay. Deb said, oh my God, Clampets. Yeah, that car. Yep, that's what I should have done. Okay. Deb said, the Revenge of the Dork. Alex said, that's like the Beverly Hillbillies film with that moving truck. Yeah, it's what I should have done with my car, except I think it wouldn't be good for the suspension or the tyres. I'm pretty sure that was smoke from the tyres that were probably rubbing against the wheel arches. Okay, Deb said, toss the wanker, all applies. Yes, it does. Yes, Deb, they've created the problem. Delia said the new floor rug fashion. Yeah, it looks like, honestly, it does look like a front door mat or like a soft mat, you know? The ones that normally, if you do try to rub your feet on, they bunch up. Those ones. Maybe it's a tablecloth or a very small curtain. Alex said, I'm so glad we're on the same wavelength. Alex said, I love my Hev family. You have all already made me feel much better as always. Oh, God love you. Yeah, I'm going to try and put something funny in each video because it does help to laugh. Because a lot of this is very serious and, you know, it's good to laugh at it, at things. Maybe not at it, but at things. Well, I laugh at it as well. Alex said, there's something seriously deranged and wrong with all our prime ministers. They all sound like they were dropped on their heads. Yes, none of them act right. None of them look right. I think there's something wrong with them. Flyby Stu said, has anybody been watching Big Daddy? No. No, I don't know what that is either, Alex. Flyby Stu said, channel on YouTube, same page. No. Alex said, no, I've been staying away from social media quite a bit this week. Been watching Come Dine With Me cooking show. Dave Lamb is so funny. Alex said, I'll check it out though, Flyby. Deb said, Barbara could be Crowley himself. Yeah, Barbara Bush, yes. Looks terribly like him. Flyby Stu said, Andrew Brigden, legend. Alex said, they seem to be the ones creating all the race problems. They want us all divided, exactly. Deb said, yes, I love Dine With Me. See lots of other stuff we can focus on. Alex said, yes, Andrew spoke up early during COVID. He was the only one and got booted for it, Flyby. Deb said, no, can't hear the grandkids. Okay, they were talking right outside my window. I thought you might be able to hear them. Flyby said, Alex been following Andrew for a long time, bless him. Deb said, makes babysitting easier. Alex said, go farmers. Yeah, that's what I reckon. Put shit everywhere. Alex said, he seems to be one of the very few good ones, Flyby. Yep, Alex said, Viva la France. Flyby said, Tom, numbers back on YouTube. Everyone seems to be coming back. Yes, but apparently you don't get your channel back. So you won't get the subs back. So it's gone. I don't know. I don't think they're going to give me mine back. I mean, they were talking about starting new they were allowing the people who got deleted to start new channels. And I remember all the Q people got deleted, and it was a big wave of deletions. It was right before I got deleted. I watched other people who were bigger than me start getting deleted off YouTube. And they were mostly Q people. Deb said, congratulations on being number one, Paulie Donuts. J1, how you going? Alex said, yes, Babs Bush like a replica of Crowley, yep. J1 said, just bought the crypto blood. Shannon said, okay, I'm awake. Hopefully I skipped all the technical difficulties and parts with no sound. Yes, you did. I'm sorry, Shannon. It's terrible. Alex said, let's hope Hev gets a channel back too, Flyby Stew. Yeah, but you don't get the subs back. That's the problem. Or part of it. I'm just glad there were people who witnessed what happened. Okay, some of you guys were there. You saw how my channel was growing and then you saw it go down. Deb said, when multiple people come together and focus on a subject that can move mountains. Yes, that's what I'm hoping with this digital ID thing. If everyone can just stock up, be ready, have cash on you for anything and just go on a holiday for a week or take a holiday off shopping for a week. And did Timmy? Did Praying Medic get his channel back and his 357,000 subs? I heard someone explain it yesterday. Maybe I'm listening to the wrong people. I heard someone explain it yesterday saying, no, you don't get your channel back. You just get to make a new one. I got to do that many years ago, man. They say it's against the rules, but they let you do it. Okay, anyhow, I don't know how that works. Yeah, Shannon, they'll turn your Wi-Fi off. They'll Wi-Fi turn your money off for hurty words. They sure will. Flyby said, well, they monetised her channel again. Yeah, twice after they deleted the first one. It's very weird. I don't know what's going on. Okay? I just would like to have my channel back with the subs I used to have. Okay. Alex said, well, it just says you have a live upcoming on Rumble. Okay, I'm going to have to delete that because that was meant to happen with this one. Deb said, yes, they are, Shannon. Deb said, hard to be on both. My phone's making noises at me. Hang on. Just got to check in case. Oh, look, it's making all sorts of noises at me. All different ones too. Oh, we got Shannon messaging me. Is that all? Okay, yep. It's just a message and some other notification. X notification? Okay. Shannon said too hard to be on both. Well, it shouldn't be now that I've got the good internet speeds that I've got, now that I've plugged it in. And I just did not prepare this morning properly. I was too busy trying to gather news to talk about and things to talk about. Shannon said, you've had your meal limit. May I suggest mealworms? Yeah, exactly. Alex said, I've let me too know we're live on YouTube. Paul, oh, good on you. Yeah, Paul said some really funny things on Rumble the other day in the chat, and I didn't read it, and I'm so sorry because that was funny, Paul. Yeah, commented on Rumble, yep. Shannon said, UNZUD. That's New Zealand with a Kiwi accent. Unzud. Unzud. Yep. Flyby said, we all know how things look in China. Yep. Yeah, Shannon's put a little sheep in there. Alex said, yeah, it's getting that way. Guaranteed they won't be having any meal limits themselves, though. Much how they bang on about climate, yet still fly their private jets 10 minutes up the road. Exactly, Alex. Deb said, my family was travelling in a car and one day we all thought in our heads about one particular house could get flooded out if the big pipes ever burst, and it happened. There you go. Shannon said, climate is a scam. It's all about control again. Yeah, everything is. Everything they want to do to us. Flyby said, have you signed the petition, no digital ID? Yes, I did, and then I tried to sign it again, not realising I'd already signed it. Yep. I tried twice, Flyby. I did it the first time, but I tried again for some reason, thinking I had not done it. Shannon said, not if it's a digital partition. Deb said, we all laugh after realising we all thought the same thing at the same time. Power of collective thought powers. Yeah, exactly. Alex said, exactly, Shannon, always has been, always will be. Hopefully this time we can all break the chain and finally stop history from repeating itself over and over. Well, that's what this is about. History always repeats itself. And it's time to stop. Deb said, don't mess with the sheep. Flyby said, religion is division. Alex said, indeed, Deb, we are always much stronger together and they know it and why they constantly try to keep us fighting. We all need to focus on them, break their little plans. Shannon said, come Marty, come Marty. Deb said, Fakari Rugs, comedy show from back in the day. Oh, yeah, that was fast forward or full frontal. The Fakari Rugs. Yep, I remember that, Deb. Dealey said, agreed, Alex. How you going, Dealey? Alex said, our world has become a disgrace. That poor little boy, I hope his family get justice for him. Yeah. Hello, Lucette. How you going? Shannon said, Obama tried to weaken the military so Hillary could lose a controlled war and end America. Yes, a 16-year plan, Shannon. Obama was the first date. Hillary Clinton was supposed to be the next date, and that was going to end up in a world war. Yeah, but Trump got in, so there you go. Alex said, hopefully it won't be too long, Dealey. Their time is short. Dealey said, I hope so, Alex. Alex said, Abigail seems ignorant. How bloody rude of her. Her silence speaks volumes. Yeah, she wouldn't even answer, because they can't. Dealey said, no kidding, Alex, nothing. Alex said, we see them all and they know it. Shannon said, just discovered an empty toilet roll holder also works as an emergency back scratcher. There you go. Dealey said, Alex, that's why we never seen walking down a street or in any shops. Shannon said, and they say men can't multitask. Dealey's laughing at Shannon. Alex said, I don't think they could walk down any street now. They're heckled everywhere they go now, especially Starm and the Harmer, Dealey. Alex said, Shannon multitasking away. Out to lunch said, put solar panels over car parks, not fields. Yeah, exactly. They could do it in the right way, but they don't. Dealey said, Alex, yeah, they would get stoned or worse. Alex said, yes, if only they've ruined so much green areas, the bloody things don't even work. Yeah. Dealey said, agree, out to lunch. How you doing? Alex said, I've always loved the haka. I used to like watching New Zealand rugby purely for the haka. Shannon said, come Mati, come Mati. Oh, I can't, I'm not supposed to do the haka. I'm a female. Isn't that right? Females aren't supposed to do it. It's a manly thing. Deb said, Bella, you'll have to wait until Mummy finished her live before you can use a computer. Yes, exactly. She tried typing. Shannon said, translation. Fuck, I just stepped on some Lego. Fuck. Deb's laughing. Alex said, Bella and Mr. Smiggles, Deb. Deb said, take that. Alex said, yes, it's a war dance, Hev. Thank you. Deb said, my coffee cup has Mr. Smiggles and Miss Bella with Hev on it. Deb said, give me shivers. Flyby Stu said, turn it off, period. Alex said, ceremonial too for lots of occasions. Yep. Paul said, hello, ladies. How you going, Paul? Good to see ya. Alex said, I can't stand these numbskulls. Most of them don't even know what they're chanting for. Probably don't even know what the war is over. No, I agree. Okay. Yeah, Paul's come over from Rumble. Alex said, that's awesome with the bear if it isn't AI. How cute. Yeah. Deb said, yes, I need this, he thinks. Yes. I just thought it was cute, so I thought I'll share that just to break up the BS, you know. Alex said it was only to say we were live here. For some reason, Rumble didn't go live. I didn't put the right stream keys in. I think I've put the stream key for the one stream I did yesterday or the day before or whatever it was. But today I didn't. I need to do, there's two stream keys you can use. One is the channel stream key, I think. That's the one I need to use. Deb said so many animals going on a trampoline. Shannon said Israel controls Hamas to give them an excuse to continue killing. Paul said, that's why I'm here now. Thank you, Alex. Yes, thank you, Alex, for telling people. Dealey said, I've seen that, Deb, so funny, animals jumping on trampoline. Shannon said, is turning off the border defence for October 7? Deb said, no, different to our elbow. Doesn't hear what people of the country he supposedly is a part of. Shannon said, false flag. Paul said, piece of shit prize. Yep. Shannon said, mandatory is not law. Yeah, I know. Deb said, I think a lot more people would have checked out if it wasn't for the great work of Trump. Yep. Alex said, they can stick their digi-ID where the sun doesn't shine. Exactly. Just look at the jab, yeah. Alex said, I would if I had money to get out, Hev. Yeah, I hear you, Alex. Actually, I'm doing a little bit better now than I was before. So thank God for that. Alex said, I'm glad you saw it, Paul. Dealey said, everyone has to comply to digital ID like we did with the clot shot. Has to not comply. Yes, I agree. J1 said, you will comply. I'm not going to comply. Deb said, prove the world's been asleep for a very long time. Shannon said, money certainly doesn't go into potholes in the road. No, it doesn't. I've seen people get like sand and stuff and start filling potholes themselves. At least I did before I moved. Paul said, start saving, Alex. You're welcome here anytime. Out to lunch said, pockets are like sinkholes. They are potholes, yep. Alex said, I will have to visit Oz one day. I'll try to keep minimal money in my bank anyway. Always try and pay in cash if I can. I always worry in case the grid goes down, Paul. Dealey said, anyone see the massive sinkhole that opened up inside a Walmart? No. Shannon said, get a book burning. The books they burnt were pornography and bestiality and transhumanism. Shannon said, German, not get. The Germans, book burning, they burnt pornography and bestiality and transhumanism. Out to lunch said, I keep very little money in bank, but not by choice. Deb said, Trump is proving to the world everything is possible. Alex said, they can't make us have it. We should turn it back on them and say only they should be monitored. They love control so much and people need to stop giving in to them. Well, that's why I said put them on an island and let them do it to each other. Like put Klaus Schwab on there, put all these WEF puppets and Tedros and his little shorts dancing with a drink in his hand, and Ursula von der Leyen, and all of them on an island with no outside contact to any other country, and let them control each other and see how they like it. And the e-safety Karen can go there too. Yep. They love control so much and people need to stop giving it to them. I tried to explain to my daughter this morning. She didn't. She said, I don't care about digital ID. And I'm like, I know, because you don't know what it's about. I try to tell her, she doesn't want to know, okay? Oh, I don't know. My son's awake. My daughter doesn't really want to know, but, yeah, I don't know what to do about that. Try little bits here and there. I do try. J1 said, Dealey, FEMA kill tunnels. Out to lunch said, Dealey, tunnels. Dealey said, J1, I thought about that too. Out to lunch said, the government shops for weapons in Walmart. Dealey said, out to lunch, I think the tunnels led to the sinkhole. Alex said, no, not in Walmart, but I've seen other ones opening up. Maybe they've been doing too much tunnelling and now it's starting to collapse on them. Alex said, the Bible says there will be nowhere to hide. Yeah, the mountains will fall on them when they try to do that. That's what the Bible says. Dealey said, Alex, yeah, we're private citizens, politicians are public servants. Data should be kept on them, not us. Yep. Shannon said, fart into their vent. Yeah, cameras on government, not us. Alex said 100% we need to turn it back on them and they need to start doing the job they're meant to do, which is working for us exactly. J1 said 100,000 three-story train carriages with shackles, 8,000 guillotines with 30,000 spare blades made in Mexico, 3 million plastic jumbo coffins. I see a pattern forming. Dealey said, J1, I'd forgotten about all those coffins and guillotines. Yes. Yes, that was Alex Jones from years ago, letting people know that they were buying plastic coffins and storing them. Dealey said, yep, the Obama years, they're a while back. Alex said, I'm glad more and more people are waking up and starting to realise nearly 3 million signatures on the No Digital ID petition showed that our government are desperate. Yep. Dealey said, J1, I haven't heard anyone talk about in many years. J1 said, Dealey, they can fit 12 million people in those train carriages at one time. Paul said, President Trump announces 100% tariffs on China. Oh, thank you, Paul. There you go. 100%. Dealey said, yes, Alex, so many more people are finally waking up and questioning many things. Alex said, I'm so glad they are. God wins, Dealey. Paul said, Malcolm Roberts for PM. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Where am I? Oh, see you, flyby. Okay, where was I? Because it just jumped on me. Dealey said, yes, Alex, so many people are finally waking up and questioning many things. Yes, they are. Yep. Malcolm Roberts for PM, yep. Shannon said that trip only cost him an arm and a leg back in the day. Lol. Yeah, now it costs you a heart, some lungs, probably a couple of kidneys and a liver. I don't know. Dealey said Penny Wong again. Yep. Shannon said barley chop shop organ swap. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, Shannon, something Wong. Paul said there's nothing you can do in Bali that you can't do in Australia. Yeah, exactly. We have beautiful beaches just like that, so don't bother going there. Alex said, that's awful. I remember hearing about that young school lad in America that they found rolled up in the gym mat, and apparently it was a cover-up by government officials, boys that killed him or something. Yeah, I heard about that too. Alex said apparently the boy in the gym mat's body came back to his family. It was filled with newspaper and his organs are missing too. Yeah, I think that happens more than people think, but they normally don't open up their deceased loved ones. Yep. I remember that story, Alex. Yeah, Dealey, I think there's many more stories like that we don't hear about. Timmy, how you going? Hello, I forgot your time changed again. Tuned in 5 p.m, should have been 4 p.m. my time. I was still at the office anyway. God love you, Timmy. Flyby Stu said, take care all. I'm out of here in a bit. See you in a bit. Everyone's saying, hey, Timmy. Paul said, Timmy, where's my email? Alex said, another case of missing CCTV and cover-up by judges. Very sad. Yes. Alex said, I think the clocks are about to change again too. Yeah, yours should go back, shouldn't they? An hour soon. And then it'll, I don't know if it evens up or what happens. Dealey said, Hev, you should add the wild animals on trampolines, if I can find them. Alex said, bloody time change. Dealey said, oh man, we're still doing the time change thing. Out to lunch said, are they trying to say Kirk's wife tied to Mossad or something? Yeah, there's all theories flying all over the place. Yeah, Timo said Praying Medic got his channel back and 357,000 subs. Huh, okay. Hopefully, I don't know. Dealey said you should get the money back too. Yes, they stole, what was it, £450? Or was it euros from Eyes? Look, I wouldn't have minded if Odysee got that money back. But as far as I know, he didn't get that money back either. Now, I wouldn't have minded if that was the case. Refund the person who paid it. But they didn't. Dealey said out to lunch is tied to something, including child trafficking. Dealey said properly prepared prevents piss poor performance. Alex said I only just got used to that last time change, Dealey. Yeah, it takes ages to get used to them. Dealey said, Alex, I got from someone in our chat family years ago. Nick, how you going? Just thought it was a male thing. Nick said Ottoman Frankists finishing off the Armenian Christians who fled to Palestine. Paul said Aussie Harker Bush, Tucker Bush. Tucker got a smoke, mate, got $1, bro. Yeah, that's our Aussie Hucker. Yeah. Bush Tucker, mate, got a smoke, got $1, bro. Alex said, I'm glad you're going to start putting a few funnies in the lives. I agree, there's so much misery and so important to laugh and stay positive, definitely. Alex said, our money doesn't go anywhere it's supposed to. Our government's been robbing us blind for decades. Most of them have more than one house and don't pay tax. Exactly. I think most of the money they spend on things, like apparently here in Australia, they added 400 new laws and it cost them $5 billion. How does it cost you $5 billion to implement 400 laws? I think they're pocketing the money. Deb said, hello, Tim, our doctor in the house. Tim said, Paul, I sent you an email asking for more information in August. I've been waiting for your response. I need to know what the diagnosis was or is that the doc gave you. I'll send questionnaire of sorts for you. Alex said, the only other Ursula I know is that monster from The Little Mermaid. Says it all, really. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Okay, where am I up to? Paul said, okay, Timmy, thank you. Shannon said, Tedros wasn't dancing, he was mincing. Mincing? Timmy said, hello, Deb Dealey, everyone. Hey, going, Timmy? Shannon said, I remember. Deb said, I've not forgotten about the guillotines and coffins. Alex said, take care, God bless, see you soon, flyby stew. Shannon said, Walmart logo, same as the cutting head on a tunnel boring machine. There you go. Am I doing a call-in after this? That depends. I was hoping to do the call-in like within an hour of starting the stream, but it's only been an hour and a half. We could do one. I have to set up a new live stream on Rumble, by the way. That one's going nowhere fast, okay? Paul said 9 people in one coffin, Deb. Shannon said Walmart's were to be connected. Okay, Timmy, is it better for you today or my Monday, your Sunday? Would that be better? Would you have more time? Let me know. You can just put it in the comments and I'll see it. Deb said, tried saying they are for the hold coffins so they don't rot. Oh, Big W Walmart. Walmarts were to be connected FEMA prison camps. Yeah, I remember that. Yep, Daily, I heard about that too. Yep, the Shannons were big enough to fit 3 to 4 bodies in. Alex said the family of Kendrick Johnson only found out he was filled with newspaper because they did their own independent post-mortem. Yeah, that was disgusting. Shannon said, I sent you the praying medic link. Hev, check your phone. Okay. So that's what that was. Okay. Oh, he did. He got the whole lot back. Because I'm sure he was one of them who got deleted from Q. And he did. He has 380-something thousand back. Okay, thank you for that, guys. Wow. Deb said a bloody lot of money. Paul said Walmart FEMA Camps Australia was going to be in the Masters hardware stores. I think most of them are shutting down, aren't they now? Shannon said, I'm not saying that. Deb said, Durry love, smoke? Yeah. Alex said, sounds like money washing to me. They put these wild costs of stuff and pocket it. I think they do. Deb said, Australia's become a washing machine. Yes, it has. Kinchega said, cold wash or hot? How you going, Kinchega? Good to see ya. Deb said, what time do you get home, Timmy? It's okay if you can't do it today. We can do it like in 2 days' time, which is your Sunday, my Monday. Kinchega said Shannon coffins were designed to hold up to 10. Okay. Zal, how you going? Good to see ya. Timmy said, email sent, Paul. Okay, so you just sent one to Paul. Okay. Timmy said, Sunday, Monday is excellent for me. Oh, great. Excellent. Good stuff. Okay, we'll arrange the call-in for then. Okay, I won't do a call-in today. I will have to delete that live stream on Rumble and upload this video instead. And hopefully I'll get my act together by the next time. I keep saying that. But the next live will be on StreamYard on Monday. You got home now, we could hop on a call and just BS a bit tonight as well. I'd have to restart the stream with StreamYards instead of Streamlabs because I'm on Streamlabs at the moment. Yeah, I'd have to restart on StreamYards. We probably could do it. Can you give me about 5 minutes or 10 minutes? Oh, is that where Muskrat has gone? Having technical difficulties as well. I'm trying to work out, should we do it today or should we do it on Monday? Or should we do... I might leave it till Monday, actually. I'm going to work out a few technical issues here. Try and line up my streaming with Rumble, because if it's at the front of my mind, then I can actually do what I think I need to do. I'll remember to do it, put it that way. Should I... it might take me longer than 10 to 15 minutes to set that, not the StreamYard up, but the Streamlabs to stream properly, because I think I've got to do it now while I still remember how to do it. Okay. Yes, Tim Ayer did preemptively pay his late fee the other day. Yes, definitely. I think I'll leave it till Monday, guys, your Sunday. Yeah, the front of my head, you know, in my memory where it's just there. Now I'm saying at the top of mind. I didn't say the top of mind, I said the front of my mind. No, I'll leave it today. I will come back on Sunday. So the new pad's pretty good. It's tiny, but it's good. And I'm about to get a tickle in my throat. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it till Monday. Your Sunday. I'm going to go before I start choking. Okay, have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Where's my outro?